All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Crenshaw. We are live from the 704 once again for episode 247 of the 815 Exchange. And listen, man, it's been a week. All right, it was a week last week. My goodness, okay? But boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. NFL draft, the Shedeur slide. We're going to talk about that. We're going to let that kick us off. We've got NBA playoffs. We've got NHL playoffs. We've got a little music to talk about in entertainment. Sinner's still killing it. Shout out to Michael B. and Ryan Coogler for that. Roundup. We got to talk about some violence. All right, we got boxing. Eubank versus Benn. Who would have thought that would have been a fight of the year candidate? We had some violence in UFC Fight Night. We got Talladega going on right now as I'm speaking that we will talk about in the Roundup. And of course, that Copa del Rey. It's been a rough El Clasico for Real Madrid. It's been a rough run of El Clasicos, man. Just not y'all's year. Just not y'all's year. And some breaking news that literally just happened when I'm about to film this. So plenty to talk about. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys enjoying the content. And as always, everything you're looking for can be found in my description. Timestamps embedded in the video. It's long form content. You here for something special? Go ahead and skip to it. I got no problem with it. I got no problem with it. So yeah, provided in the video, in the description, social media links also in the description, in the outro. But like I said, we're going to talk about the NFL draft first. So let's get to it, yeah? Let's get to it, okay? Cam Ward, as widely expected, went first. Honestly, the first round was not necessarily chalk. I won't say it was chalk, but it wasn't as hectic crazy as people were expecting with potential trades and all this stuff to happen. Cam goes to the Titans as expected. No real surprise there. Trav, all right, the one big move that did happen, Jaguars give up a bunch of draft capital to trade up to that second pick with the Browns. They take Travis, team him with BTJ, Trevor Lawrence, make or break. All right, it is make or break time. Make or break time. You got to show up now. So, yeah. Trav goes to Jacksonville. They gave up a bunch for him. Abdul Carter goes to the Giants. Very funny because he grew up an Eagles fan. And honestly, up to literally yesterday or this weekend, was an Eagles fan. So, yeah. Abdul to the Giants. We're going to talk about their draft. I really like what they did. They're not the only NFC East team. I'll say that about. And then New England goes and gets Will Campbell to, protect Drake May. And then Ashton Jeanty at 6 goes to the Raiders. So yeah, that's kind of how that, a lot of the big names there in that top 10. T-Mac goes here to Charlotte. He goes to the Panthers. Interesting pick with all of their needs, but, I can't blame them getting another weapon for Bryce. But yes, the big story, however, of the entire NFL draft was Shedeur Sanders, right? That was the big thing. Mel Kiper crashing out. All of the Sanders family haters absolutely rejoicing. Just this whole episodic that went 3 days. Shedeur went from anywhere in the first round to now he's going in the second day. And then the second day came, he didn't get picked. And he went in the 4th round to the Browns, who literally the day before went and got Dylan Gabriel. I don't understand that still. I don't getting 2 quarterbacks is not never before seen. Many teams have done it before. But it's usually you go and get that franchise quarterback with your first, and then you spend a later on the vibes guy, the backup guy, For example, last year, Commanders, Jalen Daniels, Sam Hartman. Or famously, with the Redskins, funny enough, same team in Washington, went and got RG3 and then later went and got Kirk Cousins. That worked out great for them. But that was, top pick, number 2 pick, actually, and then you go and get a guy a little bit later. This was literally almost back-to-back rounds, so I don't know what the Browns are cooking there. That quarterback room is absolute comedy with Flacco, Watson, DG, and Shedeur, and I'm missing somebody. Oh, yeah, they went and got Kenny Pickett. So, yeah, I don't know what the Browns are cooking, but they're cooking something. But Shedeur fell to the 4th. So let's talk about it, yeah? Let's talk about it. I think this was absolutely 100% a move to humble him and humble Dion. 100%. There's no other way to describe it. Now, I was not surprised when the Giants went and got Jackson Dart. That was I smelled that coming. And I've liked Jax. I'm a USC fan. I was day one with Jackson Dart. I was day one, saw the vision. And honestly, if he had imploded versus Florida, though he did, we might be having different conversations here about where he would have been in quarterback rankings. Dart has a lot of talent, so I wasn't really surprised by that. But then I was a little bit surprised when nobody traded back up in that first round. But I was, you know what? Those quarterbacks passed on him once. Nobody's going to want to get him, so they felt no need. So I was like, all right, second round, he's going to be one of those first picks. Browns will probably take him. Raiders, who were great at the Brady connection. Saints, right? And then Tyler Shaw. Tyler Shaw, 25-year-old, will be 26 during the NFL season for his rookie year. Tyler Shaw from Louisville. Tyler. Once again, like I asked the Browns with the double quarterback pick, what are the Saints cooking? This is when I was like, yeah, all right, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. Because, listen, I know there's been this like big push around Tyler, this whole like draft process, but I'm going to be honest with you. He was not even close to that guy. Now, you could say Josh Allen rules, but Josh Allen's getting a lot of people fired because he was an anomaly. All right, but Tyler Shaw, he was in the same draft class as Trevor Lawrence. I don't even know if Tyler Shaw was he wasn't even an all ACC quarterback at Louisville. He has no real historical production. He had 3 major injuries in his time. He's 25. And it's not like 25 NFL ready. He's 25, and I don't know if he's a second stringer, a backup yet, on a team that needs a quarterback. And you drafted, I'm going to be honest, a bum, a pedestrian, a regular dude. Respectfully to, Louisville fans. But we covered this man. We covered this man on the A15 exchange this year. He wasn't that guy. So I'm very, very confused around the whole push behind him, but he ends up getting picked by, and that's when I was like, all right, yeah, head's gone. I have no idea what's going on. So yeah, I would love to know what happened in those interviews with Shedeur and what, he was saying. All right, he must have been just saying, hey, legendary to like every question or something crazy. Because again, not saying that I think he's this like franchise quarterback, franchise altering superstar quarterback, but the talent and what I see, again, there's obviously some character leadership questions and even play questions about his arm, right? I'm not saying he's a perfect prospect by any means. Like, that's why I wasn't like, yo, when he fell to the second day, I was like, okay, honestly, for the value, realistically, probably not that crazy. But I do think some of the choices that were made ahead of him, and I think he got punished a little bit. I think he was getting punished a little bit. I don't necessarily think it was. I'm not going to push the race card as much as I think it was a Sanders Shedeur kind of humbling. Much as people I know wanted to push the race card, but I mean Jalen Milroe went before him. All right, so can't really do that. I'm gonna be honest with you, can't really do that. So we'll see what happens there. That's going to be one of the big stories, I'm sure, with the Browns kind of quarterback fiasco. But yeah, Shedeur falls to the 4th, does get drafted. Shiloh does not, but he gets signed by the Bucks. So yeah, I think he took it well with the whole. I think that the whole streaming kind of process was a really cool idea too. So especially for the modern age. So yeah, cool stuff there. Wishing Shedeur the best. It'd be very funny if he ends up being the best quarterback out of this draft after everything that happened. So we'll see. All right, we'll see. Let's talk about some teams that really like their draft. All right, New England. Will Campbell. I know everybody's up in arms about his arm length, but he was a dog at LSU. Not a perfect tackle prospect, and I think he got a little bit overrated, though he bounced back, I think, at the end of the season, in my opinion. But still think he was one of the premier tackle prospects. I think getting him and then you spin around in that second round and you get Trevion Henderson to add as a weapon. I wanted him so badly for the Cowboys. So badly. I think that's going to do really, 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 really well with Drake May and what they're building in the Pats. So good job from New England. I think they had a really good draft overall. The New York Giants cooked. Unfortunately, I have to say it, they cooked. All right, Abdul Carter is a beast. All right, we don't know about the foot thing, but otherwise, pairing him with Brian Burns, I guess. I don't know what's happening with KT. I don't know what's happening there, but you got big deck still. So, yeah, they cooking up on that D-line. And Abdul, I mean, he was a game record at Penn State. He was an absolute game record. Special talent. Closest thing I've seen to Micah. Jackson Dart, I think with the right development, can be there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of potential there. If he can hit his potential, he could be a very, very good quarterback in this league. Cam Scatterbo is a dog. Cam Scatterbo's a dog. That's all we need to say. If you know, you know. Scat absolute dog. I think he's going to be productive in the league. And Mabo was a really good offensive line pickup. So, yeah, I think the Giants killed it. As much as I hate to say that, and as much as I hate to say this next winner, my third winner, the Eagles. Because, of course, the Eagles Howie Roseman is a Hall of Fame GM. Because the man knows how to draft. Jahad Campbell, steal. He was a beast at Bama. A beast. I just know it's just gonna be another. Oh my gosh, they drafted him like they won a dynasty. Andrew Mukumbo, dog. Ty Robinson was great defensive tackle for Nebraska the past couple years. Most games played in Nebraska Cornhusker history. All right, he was the big man up the middle, making havoc happen. He was a great player. I think, again, pairing him with Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, all those dogs they got in that front seven, man. Literal dogs. Because they also got Smell Modin to add to that. That's just, listen, it's a Eagles, man. Eagles. I hate it, but again, they just keep winning, bro. The rich get richer. All right, the rich get richer in this draft. But yeah, we'll see. Not the craziest draft ever, but not necessarily a bad draft. I think it had some solid depth to it, so we'll see. But yeah, the first most exciting part of the NFL season has come and gone. Now, let's talk about the NHL playoffs. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the NHL is back on the channel. It's been a minute, but it is playoff time, so we got to talk about it. All right, we got to talk about it. All right, and we're gonna brush through this. All right, because we still got games going on, and we'll talk probably a little bit more in depth when we get to some of these results next week. But for 247, let's talk. All right, Tampa Bay currently taking on the defending champion Florida Panthers, and Tampa Bay they own it. All right, Jay Gunsel just is looking like a great pickup. He's looking like a great pickup for this Tampa Bay team. I don't know if it was just that missing element to get them back on track, but he's cooking up right now. He had a goal, 2 assists, 3 points in this game. Tampa Bay trounces Florida. All right, they get a 5-1 win. Vasilevsky looked like the best goalkeeper, best goalie, and I said best goalkeeper. Excuse me, best goalie. We're gonna talk about goalkeepers a little bit later though. But the best goalie potentially on the planet. He had 32 saves in this game. He cooked up. Tkachuk, of course, Matthew Tkachuk scored to open this game off. But of course, he was the big story here with that hit on I think Sorelli that I think got him suspended for a game. Yeah, and it was just very ironic with the coach saying we don't hit anybody that doesn't have the puck, and then that happens. So very funny. But classic Florida, I guess. Classic Tkachuk, classic Rats. So we'll see what happens. But Lightning up in the series 2-1, big one there. And yeah, without Tkachuk, potentially we'll see what happens with Florida and if the defending champs can get back on track. But this is looking like it's going to be a series. We know this one's going to be a series. All right, Vegas and Minnesota are cooking. All right, Barbashev won an OT yesterday, 4-3. I watched this game. Very good stuff. They feel very evenly matched. Series is tied 2-2. So, hey, listen, if you're a neutral person, you don't usually you watch hockey. You're just watching it or listening to me talk about it because, you watch the channel, you watch the pod. Hey, you looking for a series, you see Vegas and Minnesota on for entertainment value. Some good stuff. All right, there's some good hockey being played. Very exciting hockey. Really overall in this first round, it's been some really good hockey. It's been playoffs. It's felt like the playoffs, so I'll give credit where credit's due. But Vegas, Minnesota cooking up. Vegas, of course, like I said, Barbashev cooked up yesterday, got that game winner. And yeah, we'll see. Ties up the series. We'll see what happens next there. Ottawa and Toronto. All right, Ottawa and Toronto. Classic rivalry. Jake Sanderson. There was a lot of slander, a lot. All right, when we did Four Nations, there was a lot of slander about, Sanderson might need to go so Quinn can come back and take his spot. And then Sanderson showed up in that final versus Canada before we lost, right? Cooking up here, all right? Cooking up here to prevent the sweep here for Ottawa. He had 1 goal, 1 assist, and that goal, of course, was an OT winner. 4-3. Very similar to Vegas, Minnesota now, I think about it. But, yeah, Nylander has been cooking up, by the way. 5 points. He had 2 assists in this game, but it's not enough. All right, Willie Nee wasn't enough. Ottawa does prevent the sweep, but it's still 3-1 Toronto. EA Sports thought they're going to be the champions in their simulation. We'll see. Right now, it's looking like that might be something. All right, but yeah, Toronto looking like they get out of that first round, alleviating some of the pain and despair that Maple Leaf fans have already, become, accustomed to by knocking off a rival in the first round. We'll see. All right, they got to close the show, though. All right, got to close the show next game. Colorado mauled Dallas. They beat the brakes off the Stars. I ain't even going to lie to you. Beat the brakes. The Avs beat the brakes off the Stars yesterday. And, of course, there was a lot of emotions in this game. Gabriel Landeskog returning, of course, that knee injury, that knee surgery that kept him out for 3 whole years of hockey. 3. All right, but Captain Landy came back, and he was back in a big way. Looked like the Landeskog of old, like he never left. Had a goal and assist in this game. It was beautiful. All right, beautiful, 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 beautiful stuff. And yeah, Colorado just absolutely mauled Dallas to get back in that series. So we'll see what happens there. But it's good to see Landy get back in this. Get a little get back. St. Louis earlier today beat the brakes off of Winnipeg 5-1. Jake Neighbors, Coconut, Braden Shin again, similar to like what I said about Gensel. Funny enough, kind of swapping of teams there. But yeah, Shin again, championship pedigree, helping out St. Louis 5-1. Took out Winnipeg. Winnipeg, of course, top seed, won the Presidents, but that series is tied 2-2. Playoffs are a different breed. All right, simply put, playoffs are a different breed. Winnipeg is finding now. You got to show up. All right, we got to show up. We've seen what happens. All right, and the slander that comes upon number one seeds that don't show up in the NHL first round. All right, don't be the next one, Winnipeg. Don't be the next one. St. Louis, big win today. All right, big win. Currently, the Hurricanes are beating the brakes off of the Caps, or excuse me, not the Caps, the Devils, which is not really surprising. That series probably going through one. Jersey did win the last game to prevent the sweep, but yeah, Canes look fully in control. It's been a lot of fun watching that as a Canes fan. Caps and yes, Caps and Canadians. This has been my favorite series of the entire playoffs. Even more than Vegas, Minnesota, even though I glazed Vegas, Minnesota earlier. This has been such a good series. All right, just the entertainment and the fights and just it has had everything. All right, Ovi showing up, Young Stars, it has had everything. All right, and then we got Tom Wilson fighting the almost entire Montreal bench on the bench. All right, we got a scrum, and then we got the kids. We got Leno and Hudson just chilling in the back, just watching Lane and Ryan. So just entertainment. All the entertainment. They play again tonight. We'll know if the Caps took that 3-1 lead or if the Canadians were able to tie that back up. Caps got a lot of momentum. But yeah, we'll see. All right, we will see. LA and Edmonton. Very intriguing. All right. LA's had a lot of big time. I mean, Kempe, the way he stepped up, Anze Kopitar, still Anze Kopitar. So we will see. But Edmonton, there's a lot of pressure. You got me, Jesus. Y'all have come close. Y'all failed. And, every year that you fail, it just continues to add up when you got a generational talent like that, and especially since you also have Dry. So we will see. But LA's up 2-1 in that series. It's a very, very big game for tonight. We'll see who wins that. Y'all will let me know, I'm sure. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is the NHL Playoffs. Like I said, we'll talk about more next week. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached entertainment. All right, we have reached entertainment. We just talking music this week, all right? TV, what am I watching? Court of Gold. Watching Court of Gold. I'm catching up on Superman, The Adventures of Superman, the animated show on, whatchamacallit. Oh, I watched some movies this week. That is right. I watched Babygirl. All right, I watched Babygirl. That was a freaked out movie. I mean, absolutely freaked out. Freaked out. Nicole Kidman, hair stick, freaked out movie. All right, completely freaked out movie. It was solid. It wasn't like crazy. I kind of understood what people were talking about in terms of like it's like a 7-8. Like a lot of like the hype and like the theme made you think, okay, this could be special. But it feels like a movie that should be a little bit like you would think it'd be better than it is, but it's not necessarily a bad movie. You know what I mean? Like it feels like something that would be like super thought provoking, classic, but it's like it's like a 7-8. Like I'm giving it like a 4 on Letterbox, type thing. So not bad. All right, but I did watch Babygirl. Do not watch that with your parents. That's all I'll say about that. Don't watch that one with your parents. All right, let's talk about music though. All right, Young Thug and Future are back together. All right, two of the Atlanta legends back together. Money on Money, very Otis inspired MV. And a lot of people had some mixed reactions. Some people were like, yo, Future Thug back. Others were like, yo, I'm tired of hearing this. All right, and I'm gonna be honest. It was cool. It was nothing groundbreaking. It was cool, but I do think people are getting tired because I feel like Future's been in that. There's like a government, as people joke, it's a government mandated feature. Like every rap trap album has to have 21 Travis and Future. Literally every album we talk about has a one of these three. It feels like from American trap, rap, hip hop has these three. So I think people are feeling a lot of fatigue from like how much volume we're getting from them. So I kind of understand it. I don't think it was bad though. I don't think Money on Money was bad. I think it was solid. I like the MV. Alright, I like the MV. Little throwback to, of course, the great meme of, she belongs to the streets. Alright, so shout out to Doug in Future. Doug's got an album coming up. Of course, we'll talk about that on here. Aitch, we drops every week. Alright, he literally drops. When is the album coming, bro? When is the album? Alright, I saw Tracy's album. I saw everybody else's stuff posted. I haven't seen Aitch post anything about an album, but it's surely coming at this point. But he links back up with Anne-Marie, frequent collaborator, for Love. And again, they don't really miss together, and they didn't miss here. All right, I'm going to tell you that right now. Did not miss here. Good stuff. Probably my favorite of the three I'm covering. Probably my favorite of the three songs I'm talking about here. Third song I am talking about is Pack It Up. Ian, he, kind of showcased this, teased it on his IG for the past 2 months. Dropped the full song, and it didn't really hold up to me to the little snippet. I like the snippet a lot more than I think I like the full song, but maybe I just need to digest it a little bit more. One bad, but it gets maybe I'm cool with it. It made the playlist, but I don't know if I'm super duper co-signing it. All right, not my favorite Ian song, but Pack It Up, not bad. All right, not bad by any means. And yes, good to see Ian continue his wave, continue cooking. So we'll see. I'm sure he's got a project he's cooking up. Currently, he's been on tour the past couple months, so we'll see what happens there. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening, which means we're talking about the National Basketball Association. And yes, let's talk about the playoffs. All right, Miami, it's done. All right, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm not even gonna pretend and be you know what y'all can do. No, it's over with. It's over. Wrap it up. GG's. GG's in the chat. All right. Game, set, blouses. Cavs maul the Heat 124-87. Jared Allen has 22 and 10. DeAndre Hunter has 21 off the bench. And they're up 3-0. All right, they're up 3-0 on the Heat. This series is done. I'm not going to lie to you. Series is done. Cavs are advancing. Okay, sup. Okay, so this is just, it feels like, remember how I talked about OKC and Memphis last week? I'm not even bobbing. I'm really not. The series is over. It's all right. It's over. I don't care what Tyler Hero's saying. Ty Jerome's going off on y'all. Evan Mobley won Defensive Player of the Year, so shout out to Cavs for that. It was a great 2 days. 2 days ago for that class of 2021. It was a great day. All right, before Jalen Green dropped a stinker yesterday. Or actually, yesterday. It was a great. Top three was up. Depoy, K doing Cade stuff, JG looking like JG could be, and then yesterday happened. So for now, Cavs probably about to wax down Miami. Probably by the time you're watching this. OKC and Memphis series is over. Okay, 117-115. Told you, sweet broomsticks. SGA had 38. Ja got injured. Scottie Pippen Jr. though was cooking. All right, 28. Game 3, he had 30 in this, 30 and 11. So shout out to Scottie. More respect put on his name. All right, put some respect on Scottie Pippen's name. I would like to see him as a starter. All right, because he was cooking in the G. He cooked in this situation. I think he goes to the right spot, even though I don't know if Memphis is going to give him away, especially with how injury-prone, suspension-prone Ja's been. But yeah, he was cooking. All right, so shout out to Scottie. All right, but OKC definitely looks like, the team to beat possibly in the West as they've looked all season long. So yeah, they take care of it, sweeps as we knew. Denver and LA. We said last week this is looking like a classic series. It is still looking like a classic series. It is now tied up after a now sure to be iconic moment in Nuggets history at least. I mean, 34-16, they get outscored in the fourth quarter. Clippers come all the way back and then comes down to the last shot. Joker fires up, which it was definitely a shot, but it's going to go down as an assist because Aaron Gordon had the presence of mind to jump for it and catches it like a lob and dunks it just before the buzzer sounds. Denver wins in LA. Pandemonium. It was crazy. All right, absolutely crazy. All-time play from Aaron Gordon. Iconic moment there. AG, shout out to him. I mean, wasn't his finest game, but definitely one of his finest moments. Joker, by the way, had 36, 21, and 8. I know everybody has been talking about Ivan Zubac and Big Zoo and all the defense and what he can do about Joker. And listen, I was like, when I looked at the stat line, I was in disbelief. Because people were like, yo, Big Zoo is doing that thing, but Joker had 36 and 20. He had 30, 20, and nearly a 30-20 triple-double almost. Stop it. Stop the Big Zoo propaganda. All right, I'm not hearing you out. I'm not. All right, Kawhi had 24, Norm had 22. Finally, nice to see Norm Powell make a fucking appearance in this playoffs. Besides just Harden and Kawhi running the show as the unks, but yeah, this series is heat. All right, the series is heat. The environment's on fire. Players have been the stars being stars. I'm loving it. This is playoff basketball. All right. Nuggets Clippers got me spitting everywhere because this is playoffs. This is what we live for. All right. Feeling the motto like I'm the Rock. All right. Golden State and Houston. Yeah, man. Houston. Listen, sometimes it looks like it's a very funny series. It's classic Warriors in a way, but this series is hilarious. Besides the fighting, but this series is absolutely jokes. All right, absolute jokes between Chef getting hacked. I mean, damn near tackled on every possession. To the Rockets looking like, yeah, this is why they're the second seed. So, oh yeah, this is why they're still very much so a young team, and the Warriors have been here 50 times because they just gave up another 10-point run. I mean, that is literally the epitome of this year. It has been jokes. All right? Absolute jokes. Jalen nearly drops a 40 ball, and classic Rockets win game 2. It's like an Jimmy Butler's hurt. It's looking real grim. And then in game 3, they're up by double digits, and then just like the Warriors do 2016 Warriors, Chef goes ballistic, has 36, 7, and 9, and the Rockets can't hit a shot to save their life, and not Oracle, but definitely Oracle. And yeah, Golden State wins 104-93. Just hilarious. All right, absolutely hilarious. But nonetheless, all right, even though Chef is still Chef, I will not bet on the Warriors just escaping scot-free if Jimmy is out for a longer period of time here. All right, the Rockets will. Well, I can't even guarantee they'll clean this up, but by some dumb luck, all right, JG will have one of those games where he drops 30 and they'll win. All right, and the series will become a series again. So it's not over yet. Golden State's got momentum. Chef is, doing chef things in the playoffs, but it's not over. All right, Warriors fans, it's not over yet. I'm going to give y'all the same warning I gave Lakers fans about Minnesota. It's not done yet, okay? The series is not over, okay? Do not get too excited about winning game 3, all right? Win game 4, we can talk about it, but no Jimmy Buckets could be a danger zone for y'all, and the Rockets are liable to go nuclear at any point, okay? So that's calma, all right? Calma. The Knicks in Detroit still also been absolute heat. And what a game this was. All right, Detroit storms all the way back, takes the lead, then can't hold their weight. Very ironic because I just talked about this with the Rockets, another young team, the Pistons, right? Get this lead, but Knicks, not necessarily championship level, but they've been to the playoffs the past couple of years. Brunson, they've been here before. Cat, he's been in these big moments. And those guys played like stars. They did not waver. All right, they fought back, and then Cat goes supernova in the last 2 minutes of this game, hitting big shot after big shot after big shot. And then Cade kind of has a little bit of a Cooper flag slipping on the floor, even though he didn't slip on the floor, but you get the gist, all right? Not putting this game on Cade by any means. We're just going to praise Cade. But yeah, they just kind of shot the bat a little bit. All right, pissed running down their leg. Moment got too big. Lights got too bright. And yeah, they missed the opportunity here. All right, they missed a big opportunity here. Knicks escape with the win 94-93. Cat ends up with 27 in this game. Brunson, though, my goodness, 32-11. He got injured, all right, but then came back and still got it done. So yeah, credit to Brunson. He's a star for a reason. All right, he's a playoff performer as well. An absolute playoff performer. Give the man credit where it's due. Cade had 25 in a triple-double, but yeah, it's definitely looking like levels, all right, and experience levels especially, all right, with the Knicks going up here 3-1. Cade's played well, but you can tell the Pistons aren't ready yet. Cade is ready or getting ready or will be ready probably in this series. Getting better, it seems like, getting more comfortable, but this Pistons team is just not there yet. Not there yet. Got to keep building, got to keep developing, probably need some more pieces. Could be dangerous, especially with Cade at the helm, but the Knicks are simply a better team, and we're seeing that 3-1. Though, again, the fights has been pure NBA playoffs. It's been very entertaining, so I'll give them that. But yeah, it looks like New York is about to wrap this up very, very soon. Y'all called me, well, not all of y'all. Not all of y'all. But some of you called me a madman. They called me a madman when I said in this very chair, in this very room, in front of this very camera, that just assuming that the Lakers were going to be able to take care, or them playing Minnesota was a favorable matchup, was completely wrong. When I said the Wolves have a very good chance of beating the Lakers in this series, they called me a madman. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, what do you want to call me now? That's my question. What should you call me now? Because now it's a 3-1 series. And now Bron's done that before very famously, but it's not looking good for y'all. Minnesota gets to win 116 or 113 here in game 4. Anthony Edwards, masterclass. It's why he's been long considered one of the best young players, and to be, if not already, one of the best, in that upper echelon of best players in the world. Okay? Ant looked like that guy. And he's been here now. He's got the experience. So now he is more so built for these big moments. He was big time in this game. Now Luka was great as well. All right, Luka had 38. Game 1 on Luka. Braun had 27, 12, and 8. And he also played 46 minutes. It was a very unethical 27, by the way. I'm not going to lie. It was a lot of free throws. It's a lot of free throws, bro. And that's my boy. That's my king. But you cannot turn the ball over. All right, the call that came after that, okay. But you cannot turn the ball over on the inbound. You're LeBron James. You're LeBron James. You cannot turn the ball over on the inbound in a 1-point game. And y'all had so much more. Just get it in. Just get the one person I would expect to not turn the ball over in that situation is King James. And he did. And that was a killer. That was the moment I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, this could get rough. And then that call came back. It was just a series of horrible events for Bron. Definitely not going to be one of the playoff finishes he wants to remember for the rest of his career. But yeah, the Lakers are now in the hole. All right, they are now in the hole, 3-1. And I mean, I know we Shannon's got that stuff going on, and he was talking about Lakers in 5, and the whole Lakers community was talking about Lakers in 5. But right now, it's looking like Wolves in 5. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's looking like Wolves in 5, and I would be hard pressed to see why it wouldn't be. Okay, so yeah, sorry. But I told you so. Okay? I told y'all so. Call me a madman. Alright? Wolves in 5. Boston, Orlando. Boston's up 2-1. Alright? We'll see what happens. Well, you'll know what happens because this is before I'm filming before the game plays today. Sunday. But Tatum, of course, is injured, and that has changed things. Alright, the dynamic. Boston should still win the series, but Orlando getting that one back. They get another one tonight, or in literally like a couple minutes when that game starts, then this could get interesting. All right, this could get very, very interesting. But yeah, Tatum's injury, definitely going to be a storyline to watch with the defending champions to see if they can repeat with him. And that could be something that could linger as well. So we'll see. But yeah, Boston's championship hopes have taken a pretty big hit here. But yeah, got to get through Orlando first. All right, one game at a time, one series at a time. Indiana and Milwaukee starting to keep back up. Bucks got one back, so said we're not getting swept. I'm not really surprised. Indiana's not the super dominant team, and Giannis is the best player in that series, and that can happen. One of the best players steals the game. So yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked honestly to see the Bucks tie it up here. All right, and this ends up being more of a series. We'll see. Holly's got to respond though. All right, Holly's got to respond. He's got to be a star. I'm sorry. He can't. There's no backseat. You got to be the guy. You're on Team USA. You're getting the endorsements. You're King of Indiana. It's time to become King of Indiana. All right, it's time to play like it. All right, we're seeing Brunson step up. We're seeing Ant step up. We're seeing Cade, even in a losing performance, step up. You got to step up. Holly, you want to be in that next gen, be one of the leaders. You got to step up in games like this, in series like this. So yeah, I'm calling out Halliburton. I need Holly to show up here in Game 4 and make a statement here with the Pacers on what they're trying to do with the Bucks. But that's, ladies and gentlemen, it's the NBA playoffs just heating up, man. It's just heating up. It's heating up. Love it. With that said, we've reached the roundup, and of course, we're going to talk about NASCAR. No F1 this week, but we will talk about NASCAR. Talladega. Austin Cindric gets the win. Interesting finish here for Dega as well. No, crash, big, triumph. It's just like strategy. Really just strategy. Cindric's pit stop, being able to come off with as the leader of that group, won him this race. It's a team game. All right, NASCAR still much so a team game. So shout out to his pit crew for getting him that win. But yeah, Cedric books his ticket, third career win. This one's at Dago. Boxing. Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, which was supposed to be a little bit of not. It was a real fight, obviously, but it was a lot of it was jokes. A lot of the like hype around this fight was jokes. I mean, the build-up was great. From Eubanks, hitting him with the egg to, just the press conferences and the hatred and of course the history between their legendary fathers, of course Chris Eubanks Sr., who we're about to talk about, and of course the great Nigel Benn. So yeah, just all of the storylines. And then Chris Eubanks Sr., I have become a fan over this weekend. Because if a man can ore farm like that, I gotta respect it. Him and Senior and Junior had a little bit of a falling out about the fight. And Eubank, Junior trying to, get down to that weight, which he couldn't, he missed weight. And Senior was like, I don't want this fight, yada, yada, yada. He shows up in the Cullinan with Eubank Jr. Hotspur Stadium goes nuts. I mean, just goes crazy. Just complete ore farming in the hard, like Montclair Gold. It was beautiful. Then Junior had a great entrance, and yeah, then it was on. And we had one of the best fights of the year, probably. I couldn't believe it. I mean, just back and forth. Credit to Conor Benn, by the way. Credit to Conor Benn. Call him a cheat. Call him whatever you want to call Conor Benn, a prick or whatever. He was taking them shots. From a much bigger mat, he was in there trading shots all 12 rounds, won some rounds, and it was a good scrap. All right, it was a good scrap. Eubank Jr., even though he was tired, the heart to keep staying in there. He was taking some shots from Conor. That probably would have, dropped the lesser man, and he stayed up. So, yeah, we ended up getting one of the best fights of the year from a fight that I did not expect that from. I thought it was going to be more of a show, and it was a show, but it was also a really, really good boxing match. So, credit where credit's due. All right, credit where credit's due. And again, the ore farming from Chris Eubank Sr., what a legend. All right, what an absolute legend. If you can watch highlights of this one and just kind of the whole build up, please do. It was epic. All right, it was absolutely epic. British boxing heritage. All right, British boxing heritage right there. UFC Fight Night. Ian Machado Gary back in there going against Prates. And listen, Prates, solid fight, but he burned himself out. And Machado, I don't know if he's just one of those guys where it feels like his power hasn't translated to the elite, but his technique is it's impeccable. His technique is he's the goods. He's really the goods. But we'll see. We'll see if he can get that chip. It's a little bit harder than it takes than you might expect, but. Impressive performance nonetheless, gets the main event win here. Zane retires Anthony Lionheart Smith, which, overdue, but Lionheart went out the way that Lionheart would only want to. So, fair play. Brown with one of the KOs of the year, probably against Dalby. All right, that was pure pride. All right, that was the heart of pride in those 2 rounds that those 2 men were conscious for. All right, before Dalby went to sleep. Because he went to sleep, face planted. All right, beautiful KO from Randy Brown. That was fire, though. Fire fight. And yeah, I feel like we got a UFC event coming up soon. So we'll be talking about that. All right, we have an episode that is. Liverpool has won the Premier League as of today. Beat the brakes off of Spurs. Spurs and Manchester United in 16th and 17th is crazy. All right, I'm not going to lie to you. Is crazy. All right, crazy visual. Leicester City gets relegated. Vardy has also played his last game, or at least for now, with Leicester City. Crazy career, all-time legend. Name the field after him, legend for that club. Being with them for promotion, then winning the Prem, England national, being one of the best players in the Prem, and then just full circle in a sad way, going full circle. But yeah, Vardy party over in Leicester City, Man U and Spurs. Good Lord, that was an atrocious campaign for you. But dream for Arne and Liverpool as the Reds do beat the brakes off of one of their chieftain rivals and clinch the Prem. Let's talk about 2 other legendary rivals in the world of world football, or soccer as we call it here in the States. That is one, Barcelona and Real Madrid, and Barcelona still has Real Madrid's number to the point that Carlo is gone. All right, Carlo, as of literally 3 hours ago, is meeting with the board on how to depart the premises. All right, Don Carlo is gone because he don't got it no more. Not completely his fault, but he don't got it no more, and he's lost control of this club. Barca gets the win here 3-2. We just had all of the fireworks. I mean, we had Kylian Mbappe coming back from an ankle injury off the bench, score a free kick. All right, rest in peace to the Twitter account, okay? Puts them up, but Madrid chokes, gives up a late goal, and then in extra time, just sloppy play. Sloppy possession. And what have we talked about? Midfield and just defense. Being composed in your half and just defense. And it failed them. And one of the great defenders for Barcelona, Jules Koundé, fires off a shot, puts it past Courtois from distance. That's all she wrote. Even though I'm not going to lie, Barca is very lucky. Very lucky. Because Endrick had no idea what he was doing as winger. All right, and was offside. Because Mbappe was, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, it was one of those situations where you can just tell a player's in a mood or is going to, like, you could just sense it. I'm not going to lie, you could sense it. If Mbappe had an opportunity to score in those last, 2 minutes of this game, he was going to score. He was 100% going to score. All right, that was a great tackle by Gavi on that first attempt, but then that solo run, it was eerily similar to the same feeling of during that France-Argentina game when he started slicing through that defense before they got that last tackle to prevent him from scoring. It felt very similar. It just felt like, if Mbappe gets this shot off, that's going in the back of the net because he's just in a mood. But they called a very strange foul, which Rudy crashes out about. All right, crashes out. Throws stuff on the pitch. Vinny's on the bench. 3 red cards. Just a complete mess. All right, a complete mess and an embarrassment, honestly, overall for Real Madrid. All right, sorry to say it, but it was embarrassing. All right, it was completely embarrassing. Barca has never been happier. Real Madrid needs to lock in. All right, they need to get a lick back. Lost Champions League. Lost Copa del Rey. La Liga, you still have a chance, but y'all need to lock the F in. Okay, y'all need to get your lick back. You're Real Madrid. Get your lick back. Don Carlo probably up out of here. And lastly, MLB covering everything here today. Eugenio Suarez, 4 home runs. Good gracious. 4. My. That's all I gotta say about that. 4 home runs in a game. Woo! At what point do you I feel like after 3, usually we stop pitching to him, but 4 is good gracious. All right, but hell of a day for him. If you had him on your fantasy team, congratulations on winning the week. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for episode 247. Without further ado, hope you guys have a great week. Ocho signing off.